everyone, my name is Violet, this is Violet Tries Painting, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about half of the brands that I want to try, not in this year because we're almost to the end, but just an overview of all the brands plus the palettes in specific if I have it for the brand that I would like to try. Mainly they're going to be eyeshadow palette focused or eyeshadow related because I love eyeshadow the most. That's how I feel like everybody can be most expressive as, and for me personally it is true. And I'm mainly looking to try independent or indie brands because they create some really great quality matte formulas and duochrome and shimmer formulas. So that is the reasoning behind this. There will probably be a part 2 coming because creating this video, I've come to see that there is at least 40, if not way more brands, so there might be a part 3 of this. So, intro's a little bit long, let's get into it. Starting off with brand number 1, which is a shout out to another Texan. This is a Texan indie beauty brand based in Austin. Their brand is called Gourmande Girls, and this brand has been a new to me brand. I've discovered it this year from seeing it from, multiple people on Instagram and raving about the quality, showing so many beautiful looks with all their palettes. But there's one in particular, and I feel like this might be a limited edition because it's a collaboration palette. It's the Nueva Vida in collaboration with Steph's Beauty Stash, which is also another YouTuber here on YouTube, but she's also based here in Texas too, so it's just incredible to support other Texans, I don't know, us Texans were like that, we're weird. But this palette, I specifically chose just this palette. I will be posting pictures up on the screen, but this palette, Swatches, oh my god, absolutely beautiful array of shadows. I love the bright pop of, it's a neon green, a really bright orange, they have a nice deep purple, they have a really light sky blue, they have this really intriguing bright teal, and it's a stunning layout. And Steph did beautiful picking out these shades that really speak to her and really define her and just represent, of course, Steph. So I just think that palette is chef's kiss beautiful. Brand number 2 is actually from MBA Cosmetics, or My Beauty Addiction Cosmetics. I was browsing on the site for this one, and honestly, anything on the site really intrigues me. I would love to try anything from this brand, but 2 in particular that really was my heart stopped, my jaw dropped, I felt a little drool coming. One is the Black Hat Society Pressed Pigment Collection. You guys, you cannot tell me that this is not stunning, that your eyes do not light up when you see this. Oh my god, it is vibrant. They are so beautiful. And and I know the quality is amazing because I've heard so many people talk about this, and I can think of 2 in particular that really stand by this brand. Other one that caught my eye is their Pumpkin Kisses and Autumn Wishes eyeshadow palette. Do I need to say any more about this? It's fall. I love fall. I just love the autumn weather, even though we don't get it in Texas. I just love the whole theme of fall. I love the feeling of fall. I just love fall, okay? But the swatches alone really just steal you in. Those shimmers are just on my eyes. It's just perfect fall palette in my opinion. Just the color story. Just love. Brand number 3 is going to be Adept Cosmetics. This one is just everything. All of these brands have such beautiful palettes, and it's hard to choose one. Just the shimmers are just out of this world. There's some crazy duochromes, there's yellows, there's a little bit of purple, there's some blues, there's so much variation. It's just, and there's more shimmers. I love shimmers. I need duochromes and multichromes in my life. I need all of them, but I gotta scale back. So this is the Cywork Choir palette, didn't mention it, but yeah, this is just, it is stunning. And now that I look at it, there's a shade in here with my name on it, so it's meant to be. Brand number 4 is actually one that I've not heard in a while. I hope everything's okay with this brand. I hope everything's okay with the owner. It is Ladybug Glow Cosmetics. I looked on their Instagram. The last time they posted was March of this year, and their Etsy says they're taking a short break, so I don't know what is happening. But probably, I don't know the names because I just screenshot pictures, but I would probably choose the one with the light pink, a light little purple. There's like a really deep purple shimmer. There's almost like a greenish teal with a little bit of gray and the bright pink. I would probably choose that one if I had to choose a palette to try from this brand. Beautiful palettes, beautiful swatches. I know people really like this brand, so I know that it is very highly recommended as well, but I just hope that everything's okay with this brand. Okay, I officially lost count, so next brand is from Terra Cosmetics. Terra Moons, excuse me. I have known about this one probably for a year now. I think possibly 2 years. I think I discovered this brand when I first started to buy from Luxie and Cosmetica and Pretty Sure Face and all of and those brands. So I'm very familiar with this. It's just the price point of some of these really hit hard for me for just one little single shadow. So I'm hoping somewhere down the line I can get some of these secondhand, but anything from this brand, any sort of duochrome, multi-chrome, very vibrant, like shifty, just delicious shades, anything from this brand, I would be happy to receive and happy to try out one day. Always looking at secondhand shopping for brands and stuff like this, because prices, they're a little much for my budget. So this next brand is, there's one specific palette which I will save till the end, but when I saw this one and I started getting into more of wanting like Halloween, fall, Christmas themed palettes, I was like, I want that one, give me, put it in my cart and bring it home to me, please. But it's Bella Beauty Bar. I was browsing their website and a few other palettes just so happened to catch my eye. So the first one is the Angles of Illumination Duochrome palette. I picked this one because the shades are just, it's just a whole palette of like duochrome, multi-chrome. So it's like you can take one out, you can pair it with all of your other eyeshadows. I remember seeing the extensive review by DW, who is another awesome creator here. I watched that video when it came out and I was like, oh, you're so lucky to have gotten that, and she absolutely loved this, and I see why. I know 100% why. And the other palette I would love to have and own and use and put on my eyeballs and wear around this time is a Strange and Unusual palette. This is Beetlejuice. Like, it doesn't scream Beetlejuice immediately. Of course you see the pop of bright green and you're like, oh, I see it. And then you see some of like the purples and the reds and the more deeper colors, and then the more like fun, brighter colors that are like kind of unexpected. Just give me this palette already. Just give me this palette. One of my like absolute wants, absolute needs. Gotta have it, gotta need it, gotta own it. But yeah, this really calls my name. And next brand is one that is controversial to some because it is Ensley. They are known for using AI art on their palette packagings and to create the whole palette design, and they're very transparent with their customers and letting them know, hey, it is AI art, we didn't make any of this. So I understand the anger behind this. I do. Like, you just be transparent. There's nothing wrong with it. Some are gonna be okay with it, some aren't. Like, and to me, like, I don't really care, and I kind of care. Like, I don't care that the brand does this, but then it kind of strays away from having like fun, unique art actually created by an artist, which I think I probably appreciate a lot more and justify for the price. But since you literally typed in words to an AI bot and it creates an image for you, I can't justify the $70, $50 and above price point. I still would like to try this brand. The first palette is called Groovy Garden. This one is cute. I've always been a fan of mountains and nature and earth, and this kind of gives off that like Seattle, sort of like, what am I trying to say? Like, it's at the tip of my tongue. Is that like fun, like sort of subdued with a little bit of darkness, a little bit of brightness of these shimmers. It's just got this beautiful color story. People really enjoy the quality as well. The other palette that is actually the one that is like an immediate, I have to have this, I have to try this, is called their Flutter palette. Just give me these, what do you call them, duochromes, multichromes, these shifty shadows. Like, delicious. How can you not just be in awe of wanting that? Like, for me, just throw them all in my eyeballs, throw it all over my face. I just want to be bathed in these shifty shadows, like literally I do. And this palette, I love the color story. Absolutely love it. It's so different. There's a lot of shimmer shades, which I can not want this palette, at least for me. The next brand is one that I've kind of heard a little bit about. I remember seeing this palette when it was being teased in its launch date. It's called Jacy Cosmetics. I don't really hear a lot of other people talk about this brand, and I also don't hear a lot of people talk about this palette in general. Duochrome palette. It's 35 shades, 34 duochromes, 1 multi-chrome, but it's just a whole palette of them. Perfect. It's a little bit big than I would prefer, but I just think that the versatility, the arrangement, the all sorts of different shades, all sorts of different colors and tones, and you pretty much have like almost the rainbow in there. So it's like you have literally any sort of duochrome you could ever need to last you for a really long time, and it go with the rest of your collection. So in a way I can see it, but for someone like me who's cheap and on a budget, my heart is just kind of flatlines. I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna go to the hospital at this point. Alright, brand number 10 is it's grown exponentially from being on TikTok and TikTok Shop and like blowing up with all of their palettes and collaborations and stuff lately. It is Glamlite. I put this in here. I know that probably soon I will be trying this brand. I will explain in a minute, but I still want to put it on here. Glamlite, I just see so many people talk about, and they came out with the Chucky palette, the Halloween palette. They're famous for their like pizza palette, I think, like years ago, and that's how I remember them as. I've never gotten around to trying them. In particular, the Glamlite Chocolate Martini palette kind of catches my eye, and I am really beating myself up over this because it is no longer on the site. I could have gotten it probably for like 10-15 bucks when they had this discounted heavily on their site, but I talked myself out of it like I do every single time because I'm trying to be selective. But now that I'm really looking at this palette, I just like the more like softer, more like neutrally, more of subdued, more of like just, I'm saying more of, not more to, more of, just this color story I don't have in my collection. I don't think I have, well, I might have some of these shades, but I don't have like that interesting happy hour shade, the purple. I might have an orange, probably have some golds, but like, I don't know, just this color story is beautiful. I mentioned this one, I'm still putting it in here, but I think by this next week as of filming, I will be receiving a palette that is from Glamlite, that's also from a collection that I have regretted also not buying from, but I am honored and super grateful to receive this from GW, who will be sending over the Scooby-Doo palette. That collection, both of those palettes in that collection, I want so bad. Like, they're beautiful. One is more bright, the other is more deep, darker, sultry, and I need both. So I'm just really grateful to have that one, and like I absolutely love her for sending it over to me. So I'm hoping that that is what the palette she is sending. So I still added it in here, but I will be hopefully, crossing my fingers, be able to try this. Brand number 11 is one that just came out with a new palette. Well, should I say that because every brand comes out like with a new palette lately, but I just mean it because they recently collaborated with Robert Welsh. It is Blendbunny. Now, Blendbunny is a palette that, interestingly enough, some makeup artists on a wrestling show called AEW actually uses this palette on one of their female wrestlers, and I was like, that is so freaking cool. Blendbunny is known for their like big palettes. It's mostly like rainbow or colorful. They have the blends, they have the Machina palette or Machina. I always want to say it in Spanish, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But most of the time it's a bunch of like colorful rainbow shadows. So to me, I'm like, I don't need that. And they only add like a row of shimmers, maybe two. And then I'm like, I need a little bit more shimmers. Did screenshot the Sickly Sweet palette because at first when I saw this, I wasn't too keen about it. And then, now I was browsing it, looking over, I might have some of these shades, but I don't have a lot of pastels so that I, truly sat down and looked and compared. There isn't a lot of shimmers in this, which bums me out, but I think that I can really benefit from this palette. I think that I know that I'm not a companion palette person, but I can definitely see myself using this a lot as a whole, and then also combined with some of the other palettes in my collection. The next brand is one that I don't think I've heard anybody talk about. I don't think I've never heard of this one myself. I'm not familiar with it, so I'm not familiar on quality, but I'm sure that it could be really good. And I would still like to try it. I'd still want to venture out into a bunch of different brands. Again, this is a laundry list of brands I would love to try. So this one is called Spellbound Beauty. There is a palette that I was eyeing on the site. It's called a Witchcraft eyeshadow palette, and I think it's just that whole like 3, 6, 9, that little what do I want to call it? That little section right there in the middle. I think that called to me, and then of course the outer matte shades called to me too, because they're kind of like grungy, and there's like a purple, and it's just so different to like put some of these colors together. So and the swatches looked very, very well done, very like whoa, eye-catching. So yeah, I think this would be very fun to try. Next brand is also one that I have seen popping up a little bit more than usual. I think I've seen this brand like become more popular over the months, and it's Beauty Moon Cosmetics. Specifically, I was eyeing two, like either one I would be happy with. The Divergence eyeshadow palette, that array of colors, it's just so fun. It looks kind of like, it reminds me of like clowns, in a good way, with some fun like duochromes and, you know, like shimmer shades and stuff. And I just think it's pretty, and I would definitely get a heck of a lot of use out of that one. The other one is Once Upon a Time Face Artistry palette. This one is just beautiful. Like the color story has got some pinks, some blues, a little yellow, a little green, one neutral, a black, like, and it's got I think a little bit more shimmer shades. Could be wrong, not counting off the top of my head, but just those palettes alone, like they're just so beautiful, and like my eye is just like can't stop staring. I can see possibilities, I can see looks, and it's just, how can you not? The next palette is also from another brand that I've not heard like anything about. I just came across it. In particular, the palette is called Come Undone, the sweater, or not in quotations, in parentheses, the sweater weather palette. You see why it drew me in. It's sweater weather, fall. I love that. I need it. I crave it. Just kidding. We're getting excited. But this color story is fun. I love it. It kind of leans Christmas, but it also has fall. It's also got grungy. It's got muted. It's got Halloween kind of tied in here a little bit. It's just so beautiful. Like there's those shimmer shades are just always calling me. I love that shade called Veloria and Stellar. It's just, oh, like, I need. Next up is Sugar Drizzle Polish, the Sea Siren Duochrome eyeshadow palette. Need I say more about any of these? Like, look at all those shimmers. Look at that shade called Sirena. Look at Evil Mermaid. Look at Sea Gardens. Like, doesn't this make you want to use it? Make you want to just have it and own it? I just can't get over it. Like, those swatches just stole my heart. I'm a sucker for neon shades. I'm a sucker for pastel, grunge. Give me everything and anything. Okay, this next brand I've not heard whatsoever. I've not seen anybody really use any of their palettes. I just wanted to add it on here because I'm always interested in trying all sorts of different brands from all sorts of different companies. There wasn't anything specifically catching my eye or that caught in my eye, but they have some really good palettes. The artwork looks very different. It's interesting. It's called, I didn't even mention, Indica Beauty Rockstars Makeup. But yeah, I mean, they look like beautiful palettes. They've got some great color stories. Honestly, anything on here would be nice to try. There's nothing in particular that I would be like, no, I don't really want, no, I don't really care for. And I think that anything on here would be really beautiful to try. Next brand is also from another one that I am not too familiar with, but this palette. It's from Davini Beauty. It's almost like Da Vinci, but without the C. I remember seeing this palette being used by other people, and then it hit me. That's where I know this brand from, the Current C palette. And it dawned on me not too long ago. I was like, oh, currency, like money, but it's spelled Current C as in the ocean. I'm like, wow, duh. I'm slow. But this palette is beautiful. Like, look at the array of colors and shimmer options. They all go together. You definitely see one and dones. You definitely see some 2 eyeshadow looks. Definitely see a bunch of potential in this, and it's just so eye-catching, and it's just like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Next brand, actually we're getting closer to the end, is Kaleidos, or Kaleidos. I don't know what the right pronunciation, I've heard it both ways. I screenshotted just a palette. It's not necessarily this one. The one that I want is actually discontinued. It's the Club Nebula palette in collaboration with Angelica Nyquist. That one just, I don't know what was it about it. My eye was like, oh, that is beautiful. It's so gorgeous, and I remember so many people loving it, and I think I remember seeing the video she did on the palette and creating, and you guys know, Angelica, I love the way she plays with eyeshadow. I love her brain and like creating looks and adding this color and that color and putting this color on top, and it switches like all the different undertones, and it's just so fascinating to me, and that is probably why I wanted that so much. But I put on here the Escape Pod. I mean, this is beautiful. It's not something that I'm like, I need. I would just like to try this brand. Hoping something comes out that really intrigues me. But this palette is beautiful. There's a nice, like, it's colorful. It's got shades that I would use. Definitely looks like beautiful shimmers. I know formula is really great, and it's just vibrant. It's me. It's beautiful. How can you not want to try this? The second to last brand is one that I don't think I've heard or seen anybody in the people that I follow use this, but like I mentioned, as always, I still want to try it. It's from the brand called Makeup Rituals. This one is the Mabon Blessings eyeshadow palette. Like, it's got purples, like maroons, it's got reds, it's got greens, it's got shimmers, it's got all sorts of like unique colors. The packaging, pumpkins, fall. You get the drift of why I like this. And the eye looks that's presented on their site that people have done with this palette. Oh my gosh, amazing. And then the swatches, beautiful, pigmented. They look promising. This palette just looks like a dream and absolutely stunning. And the last brand in this video is one from Fantasy, well, not one, it's several, from Jacy Cosmetica. There's several palettes in here. I will pop them up all on the screen, but the Bard, Warlock, and the Druid palette all are just absolutely phenomenally swatched, phenomenally creative. The packaging is so cool. It definitely lives up to their fantasy name. It's very like sort of like nerdy, but like really cool nerdy. And as a gamer, I'm kind of like a nerd, kind of like a geek, but not really, you know. It's just so fun. Bard, I just love the shades in here. That pop of the blue with everything else around it. It's just, what a cool and unique color story to add in that bright pop of blue with like a maroony, reddy sort of color and a green. Like, oh my gosh. And then the Warlock palette, that green caught me. The pinks, the blue. Oh, that first shade caught my eye, and I was just like, delicious. Absolutely beautiful. And the last one, Druid, it's a muted grundiness. It's like earthy. It is just beautiful. And like all of those tones, I would get so much use out of, especially around this time. Like it would, and their quality is phenomenal. That is why people love this brand. So I want to try that brand. I just, like all of these, they sit in my heart until I can give them so much love. But, you know, I will wait. It is worth the wait. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a fun little video I've been wanting to make and finally got around to it. Have you tried any of these brands? Have you not heard of any of these brands? I leave the comment section for you guys to conversate with each other and with me. And as always, have an awesome rest of your day and or week. And I will see you in my next one. Goodbye, guys.